You may not have heard of it, but some say Bilderberg is secretly trying to take over the world. We're trying to find out why some of the biggest names in business and politics are currently meeting very discreetly.
Kind of said you were going to Bilderberg to see if it existed. Let me ask you now, does it exist?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100.
I mean, do those
100,000%.
Do those police exist that took you to jail?
Well, yeah. I'm calling from the police station. You know how many times I've been in a police station in my life? Twice. Both days here at Bilderberg. You know, I've never been arrested. I've never had a crossword with a policeman.
And plus, you guys had 9/11 as well to fall back on and to remind you of how real this New World Order really is.
Well, President Obama sees himself as the citizen of the world.
No coincidence that in Africa, out of the 30 wars, 32 wars taking place on the continent, 32 wars are energy wars, and the epicenter of all these wars is Sudan, and the epicenter of Sudan is Darfur. So in the United States, or all these groups talking about Save Darfur, that's just, you know, facade for what is really, really going on.
The Bilderberg Group is meeting in
the elite of the world, and that's you, have been waging war on the people, waging war on any free populations, attempting to create your world government, a monopoly of thought, a monopoly of science, a monopoly of finance. You are destroying this species.
According to the Financial Times, which says a group of powerful men and women will debate the future of the world.
So there's still a lot of resistance. And the Bilderberg boys and grumpy old men, because they're far behind on their effort to take over the world.
Is this the most security you've ever seen for Bilderberg? And is Tim Geithner there? And Haraj, Times of London, they're all admitting it's world government. They have validated everything we've ever said. Stay with us.
Again, the Bilderberg is aristocracy of purpose. They're not the only organization. They work hand in glove with the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations. They work together with International Monetary Fund, World Bank, European Central Bank. It's the money elite working on ways to control the population in the age of peak oil.
I asked John Ronson, who has written about Bilderberg, what it really is.
Bilderberg is a meeting of powerful centrist industrialists and politicians. They always meet in secret once a year.
Jim, are you saying this is the most, in 30 plus years covering this, the most security you've ever seen?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes for blocks and blocks up and down the road.
And then we have a London Guardian reporter just walking on the beach sidewalk, he says, and they run over with machine guns and throw him in a police car.
Yes, they did, and as I said before, that's happened to a large number of media types out there yesterday and today.
But you should know that as you attempt to set up your world government, you're facing greater and greater problems. Your agenda is faltering. Free humans everywhere know what you're doing. The people have woken up to what you're doing.
Again, it's the aristocracy of purpose. Two groups of people for the last 54 years, and over the course of history for the last 500 years, been working towards a goal of destroying the concept of nation-states, destroying constitutions, subjugating the human race. And again, it's not a conspiracy. If you may, it is a systemic conspiracy, but there's a very, very clear-cut and easily identifiable system in place that puts all of these elements, from media control to government control to energy control, together into one apparatus, working together effectively towards its final goal, which is, global control.
The fabled shadowy cabal that secretly rules the world.
You seek to feed on your own species. You're an upper predator class that is trying to engineer us and dumb us down so we're more easily fed upon. You will and you are failing now. Your New World Order will fall. Humanity will defeat you. The answer to 1984 is 1776.
And they think the idea of a world government, which is what Bilderberg is into, by and large, the idea of a one-world community, a new world order. You know, they see that as...
They see themselves as a government as opposed to a group of world leaders or people with influence at a global level who are talking about global issues, do they?
They see themselves as headhunters. They'll get an up-and-coming politician who they think may be president or prime minister one day, and as globalist, industrialist leaders who believe that politics shouldn't be in the hands of the politicians, they try and influence them with wise words in the corridors outside sessions.
The common premise is that the governments rule and make up the rules. They actually don't. It's the men behind the curtain that do all the ruling. And the men behind the curtain, people such as David Rockefellers of the world and the Rothschilds and the Queens of England and so forth, their idea is control of not only natural resources but all the corporations, which they do, which is again why Bilderberg is...
To David Rockefeller, to the Rothschild representatives here, to the Queen of the Netherlands, to all of you, we tell you, you are not our queens, you are not our kings, you are not our gods, we do not belong to you, we are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men, against the thugs, against the bullies. We are here telling you that we will resist the New World Order. We will defeat your world government. We will defeat world taxation. We will defeat your control grid.
I mean, they're a bunch of powerful people. They meet in secret.
The idea of globalization will again go back to the idea of nation-states by destroying nation-states and destroying borders, creating regional blocks. Suddenly the goods go from one end to the other, but there's another hidden side to it as well. A systemic conspiracy where you have the government, where you have the private entities, corporations, all run by the same people, who are shareholders and members of the same elite or the same organizations working together. If you can take away, such as in the case in Ontario, something which belongs to the country and take it and put it in the private hands, you suddenly control the energy supply. So no matter how you look at the whole thing, the end game is oil, the end game is energy. If we don't have energy, money ultimately loses its value in every sense of the word.
And I stand before the creator of the universe, and I ask the creator of the universe, as our founding fathers did in 1776, to lead, guide, and direct us, and to give us the power, and the foresight, and the understanding, and the will to stand against your entire agenda, including your final plan of world population reduction of 80% that Henry Kissinger penned in 1973. We stand here as free human beings that love our families, that want to control our own destinies. I know that you have the excuses that you claim you have to have world government to stop world war, but in truth, architects of World War II are sitting in your building right now, like Queen Beatrix, her late husband, SS officer. We are here simply trying to defend liberty. You have threatened us. You have threatened our countries. You have threatened our sovereignty. You have threatened our livelihoods. Your world government and your own statements and your own policy reports are detrimental to the average man, woman, and child. You have more power and more money than you could ever spend. You own the central banks to print the money. Why then do you continue to try to dehumanize us? Why do you put mercury in the vaccines? Sodium fluoride in the water? Why? Why do you put future viruses in the vaccines? Why have you used depleted uranium now in 4 separate nations? The equivalent of 44,000 A-bombs of uranium now in the atmosphere. Why are you doing this? Why are you so dark? Why are you so destructive? Why are you destroying your own future? You're arrogant. You have the sickness that elites have had throughout history in their literal and, in some cases, figurative ivory towers. You believe that you're invincible. You are your own greatest enemy. You are an enemy of humanity and the human experience and everything that we are and everything that we could be. You are threatened by the dynamic human free spirit. You are monopoly men. You monopolize the economic system. You try to monopolize the spiritual systems because you're threatened by independent middle classes developing their own industries that you believe will threaten your monopoly of control and power. We here, the free peoples of earth, stand against you and your wickedness. The numbers are growing every day. Millions of people every day wake up to what you're doing. They understand your program of control and they will resist it.
I think I'm being self-righteous at all in saying that I think it's important that I'm here. I think it's important that Jim Tucker's here. It's important that, the guy I just spoke to from Romania is here. It's important that Bernie, who went out on the boat to try and get near to take photographs of them from the sea, is here. I think it's all important. boats, but he said they didn't get within 3 miles before the Greek Navy came along and turned the boat around.
So now you can't even get out in the public harbor. I mean, now you can't even go out in the public harbor. It's like the gods have landed. That's the end of it.
What's fascinating is that here's a situation where people out in the boat are being turned away by the Greek Navy from approaching within 3 miles of a hotel, and it's still not being reported on. And it's this. I don't quite understand. I'm going to come away from this conference with that one question foremost in my mind. I don't understand why it's not being talked about in the press. You put Bilderberg into Google News, and it's prisonplanet.com, Prison Planet, The Guardian, Prison Planet, that one article in the Times, and that's about it. And that's depressing. Is that the best that we can do? Is that the best reporting that we can put together as a globe? Jesus, it's pathetic.
See, the media's denied all this existed until about 6-7 years ago. Now they go, okay, they want world government. And they've had Mom Biot of your own paper come out and say, yeah, we need world government. He said that yesterday. And, that's kind of where this goes. But then other reporters said this didn't exist all these years. They don't want to admit they're wrong. So it is pressure with the Financial Times of London, owned by a Bilderberg Group, remember Mr. Wolf, with the Wall Street Journal and stuff, with News Corp. So there's members and there's guests. Rupert Murdoch. They do have a news blackout.